Hey guys, it's Kong here. This is my first video in 2024. That being said, I know I'm late, but still, Happy New Year's. I hope you guys spent New Year's really well with loved ones. But for me, New Year's is a busy time for me work wise, so I was working long hours overtime, and I still am. Reason why I am not posting as much in January of 2024. Once February comes, I think I should have more time to post my videos. But that being said, this video is about my top 5 movies of 2023. First, I want to discuss on 2023 movies that are still on my watch list. There's 3 movies. The first movie that I haven't watched yet, but I plan to watch is Iron Claw. Iron Claw generally is based on the real life event of a family and the entertainment of wrestling. It's based on a tragic story of a family. I don't know too much about it, but Zac Efron I think is one of the actors. But I love movies that are based on real life biopics or whatnot, whatever you may call them. Second movies that is still on my to watch list from 2023. That movie is The Boys in the Boats. Again, another movie based on real life events, a biopic or whatnot. It's about a team that engage in the sport of rowing boats. Sorry, as you can tell, I have no knowledge in that sport. Even if I don't have knowledge in something, I am still intrigued to watch a movie because of the story that it will tell and just because of what I can learn. Then lastly, number 3, Ferrari. Like we all know what the brand Ferrari is, and I guess it's telling the story of how Ferrari came to be. Those are the 3 movies that are from 2023 that I still haven't watched yet and I plan to watch. Moving forward, my next topic I want to discuss on is horror movies. I recall 2022 being a great year for horror films, movies like Barbarian, Smile, The Black Phone, and I anticipated 2023 to also be a great year for horror films, especially with great amazing titles like Evil Dead Rise, Exorcist, Believe. Yeah, but unfortunately, 2023 for me was a letdown when it comes to the genre of horror. I just feel like all the horror movies that came out this year were just mid or horrible. I think out of all the genres of movie in 2023, horror movies were the most sought out genre for me. I watched like 10 horror movies last year. Evil Dead Rises got me on the edge of my seat the first 2/3 of the movie, but the last third of the movie kind of got ridiculous in my opinion, so it was mid for me. Exorcist Believe, I mean, everyone hated on this movie if you haven't heard, and I agree. Exorcist Believe, the first half I thought was really good. I loved the build up. I was in for the ride, but the second half it just went downhill. And instead of trying to give you a genuine great scare, it was kind of pushing more of its agenda or message, which was everyone needs to come together during hard times and you need to diversify your beliefs. The final scare scene was just 2 girls stuck on a chair. They're stuck and tied onto a chair. It wasn't that scary. A lot of people loved Talk to Me. 824. I love 824. But I thought Talk to Me was also mid and kind of dumb. I'm not gonna really include spoilers in this video, but if I'm talking specifically about Talk to Me, why I don't like it, I'm gonna include spoilers. Essentially, I don't like Talk to Me because of some illogical scenes, illogical dialogue. For example, the younger brother, before he got possessed, he was really scared when he was in the room watching everyone play the Talk to Me game. He was so scared, and you can sense that he didn't want to be in the room. He didn't want to be there. But there comes a scene where the main character, the girl, she was doing the Talk to Me. They kind of made it like the whole Talk to Me ritual activity was a metaphor to drug activity. The little brother, who was so scared of this activity, all of a sudden is not scared anymore. He wants to be part of the cool club, and he was just like whiny about it. Like, I want to play, but it's like, bro, like you were like literally scared of this, and now you want to do it. Like that's one of the few reasons why I thought it was kind of dumb and illogical. Another pointless scene was they were trying to find out more about the hand, the origins of it, how to beat it. And again, I genuinely love movies where the characters they're trying to beat this entity, right? In horror films, I love it when it's that take, right? Smile, um, The Ring, for an example. And so they try to, again, find out more about this hand, and they can potentially get this information from the previous owner of the hand. Miraculously, I guess they knew the routine of this previous owner because this guy was just randomly waiting at a city bus stop and they knew he was there and they went to approach him. He went into the bus, they went into the city bus with him, and they were trying to figure out any historical information about this hand. Turns out he couldn't give any information. And so in my head, I'm like, this is pointless, right? Instead, it just led to nowhere. And I don't know why they just couldn't cut that out. I'm going to end my rant with Talk to Me. Those are a few reasons on why I don't like Talk to Me. I guess I'm going to transition to honorable mentions, building off of the topic of horror films. An honorable mention movie for 2023. This is, in my personal opinion, the best horror movie of 2023. That movie is When Evil Lurks. It's an international film. This film, personally for me, is not like top 5 or top 10 best horror movies of all time, in my opinion. It's a decent horror film. If you have watched all the great horror movies and you haven't seen When Evil Lurks, definitely watch it. This is why it's in my honorable mention. What I love is it starts right away. Essentially, it's a concept that's like demonic entity and zombies. It's not really zombies though. It's really original because the world already has this understanding of whatever this virus is, right? Everyone knows of the virus, but they also don't fully know about it, which is great because as a viewer you go in with their perspective. You don't really know much about this virus that's going around and people are so afraid of, and it's so odd and original, and you're like, whoa, let's figure out why, how it's spreading, because again it's original. It's not, it's kind of like zombies, but it's not exactly like zombies because it's not like if you get infected, it's blood in your blood, you're gonna turn. No, it's a whole original concept of its own. You have the same perspective as the characters. You don't really know how this virus works. The movie kind of give you breadcrumbs and patterns of how this virus works, how it spreads. Again, there's an element of demonic entities and whatnot. The movie's giving you breadcrumbs, small characteristics of the virus. You're trying to figure out how to beat it. So are the characters. The third act of the movie is where it went downhill for me. It's really subjective. You may be okay with how the third act will go, but for me, I just thought it was really dumb. Interesting still, but dumb. I'll just say that. I feel like I'm going too much on a tangent, but let's move forward. The next honorable mention is Elemental. Elemental is an animated film by Disney. It plays on people who are separated by what element they are, a metaphor to race and whatnot. There's like the fire people, there's water people, there's air or cloud people, etc. The main female character is of the fire element people, and the main male character is of the water people. It's just a great story about overcoming barriers and stereotypes and diversifying one's mind. Next honorable mention is a sci-fi movie, that is The Creator. The Creator is a really interesting sci-fi movie. I would say it's not really completely original storyline wise. Plot wise, it's kind of cliche, which is fine. It uses a formula that works, but some sci-fi elements are pretty original. It's pretty cool. Really great graphics. Graphics wise, it reminded me of District 9. If you're just wanting a good sci-fi movie to watch and you haven't seen The Creator, give it a watch. And the last movie on my honorable mentions is Past Lives. Past Lives is a Korean slash Asian slash Asian American movie. It's the directorial debut of Celine Song. This movie's essentially about woulda, coulda, shoulda. I would say if not everybody, majority of people have that one person in their past that is a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Could have been good lovers, a good couple, but because of XYZ reasons, couldn't happen, bad timing or whatnot. And it's just about those two people finding closure, but the catch is that the female character, she's married, and these two characters are trying to just have closure, close out this chapter of what they had. Again, this movie is not those super sexual, scandalous movie. The characters interact with each other in a really respectful and mature manner in this specific situation. Well acted, greatly shot. It drops ideas and concepts throughout the movie. And at the end, it completes those concepts and ideas. You're not thinking like, wait, what does this mean? What does this symbolize? Like, if you question that, you can look it up online and then the answer will be there. Then it'll click for you. It comes full circle in the end. My only gripe, and I mentioned this in my review, is I just feel like the husband was greatly disrespected. The subject matter or how it was executed didn't really resonate with me. But if you look at this film on a technical level, it's a perfect film. I'm gonna say it. So moving on to my top 5 movies of 2023. There's a reason why I am naming these movies top 5 movies of 2023. That is because the honorable mentions, if you go on with your life never seeing it, I think that's fine. But these top 5 movies, if you're like, what's a must watch movie that was from 2023? I would recommend these 5. I would say they are a must watch once in your lifetime at least. That being said, starting with number 5, that is David Fincher's The Killer. I love David Fincher's movies. I love The Zodiac and his other films. And The Killer maintains his style of filmmaking in the killer assassination action film genre. But what I really like about The Killer is it's not like a action-packed blockbuster assassin killer revenge movie like John Wick or Taken. I would say it's more subtle, but in a good way. I've seen a few comments about this movie. Some people did not enjoy it. Some thought it was boring. But if you go in watching this movie thinking, I want another John Wick, no, you're going into this movie with the wrong mindset. Essentially, this movie takes the revenge assassin path a little more subtle. It's a pretty simple movie, pretty simple, straightforward movie. It's more chill, it's more subtle, but still really well done. Moving on to number 4, and I'm kind of surprised that this movie is ranked higher on my list. I thought this was gonna be like number 1 or number 2, but as the year went on, it just went higher on my list. And that movie is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. If you haven't seen my review, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is a spectacular superhero and or Spider-Man movie, right? If you like anything about superheroes, superhero movies, anything about Spider-Man, this movie you will love it. Action packed. It's a animated movie. Animation is amazing and original, unique. Great characters. You love the characters in this film. This movie, I say, is near perfect. And the reason why it's not perfect, in my review, I say there's something that this movie does that can kind of irk people in a way. I'm gonna say it here because it's been a while. Spider Man Across the Spider Verse, the number 1 flaw for it for me, and why it's not a perfect film, in my opinion, is because it ends in a cliffhanger. And, in my review, I said I don't want movies to do this. So I have to call it out for that. I don't want movies to end in a cliffhanger. Am I super excited to see the third part of the movie? Yes, but again, I don't want it to become a thing where movies, oh, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, everyone loved it and it had a cliffhanger, so now we can do cliffhangers now. No, I don't want movies to do that. Great film. If you want to hear me talk more about it, watch my review on my channel. But again, it's still an amazing, near perfect movie. Moving on to my number 3. The third best movie of 2023 is Killers of the Flower Moon. Michael Scorsese. Look at the cast. You already know. Right? It took me a while to find the right time on my calendar to watch this movie. But amazing film. I personally thought the 3 hours and 30 minutes went by pretty fast. because of the great acting, the great writing, the great pace of the movie. In my personal opinion, I know some people did feel the 3 hours and 30 minutes, but for me, I feel like I didn't. Interesting story. If you don't know, it's about the tragedy that happened to the Osage people. I don't want to make it seem racial, but a certain group of white folks in that town just kills the Osage people to benefit them in a certain way. And the main character, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, he moves into the town. His uncle is in that group of people. He marries an Osage lady. So he's stuck in between, but he obviously takes a route with his uncle. But yeah, just a great drama. Again, the only conflict is it's so long, so you kind of have to plan your morning, afternoon, or evening for it. No flaws in my personal opinion. Definitely a must watch. Number two, my second best movie is Godzilla Minus One. I'm gonna say this first. I didn't give a movie review on Killers of the Flower Moon or Godzilla Minus One, but I would give Killers of the Flower Moon an A, and I would give Godzilla Minus One a B plus. With that being said, you'll wonder, why did you rate Killers of the Flower Moon higher, but why is Godzilla Minus One higher ranked for top 5 movies of 2023? And I guess I'm gonna continue talking about Godzilla Minus One, and that will probably answer that question. So Godzilla, I've never really cared much about Godzilla. Never seen the originals. Never seen the classics. Never seen a movie about Godzilla. My first ever Godzilla movie I watched was King Kong versus Godzilla, because I love King Kong. My b-boy or breakdance name is King Kong because of my real name, Kong, right? And even then, I still didn't really care much about Godzilla, to tell you the truth. But this movie came out, made in Japan. I love my foreign movies. I love specifically my Asian movies. Godzilla Minus One, what I liked about it is it gets straight to the point. The story is really good. You care about the characters, unlike the American one where it focused on the characters the whole movie, but nobody really cared about them, I guess. From what I heard, I haven't seen that movie. But this one, you care about the characters. It's not really a spoiler, but you actually see Godzilla right away. Like they let their intentions know to you. Like, you're not gonna wait the whole movie and then the third act you're gonna see Godzilla. No, like, we're gonna make it known to you right away that Godzilla is here. The presence is here. You will be seeing Godzilla in this movie. So I love that they did that. And again, the character building was done really well. You know, it was after World War II ended. The main character, he was a kamikaze, but he fled. He didn't want to kill himself. He didn't want to do that suicide mission. So he fled and he lived, and people knew that he was a kamikaze. He was kind of looked down on, like, dude, you're a kamikaze and you've snaked out. It was like a redemption movie for that character, and you're rooting him on because he's a good guy. You know, he's not an asshole. He just doesn't want to, doesn't want to die. Every character's in there I liked. Godzilla was ruthless. It's not like Godzilla versus King Kong where Godzilla and King Kong are good guys. It's just that they have territorial natural instinct beef, you know? It's like Godzilla is an animal. It's natural instincts. It's gonna go off. And it Godzilla went off, man. And that's why I loved it. This movie definitely has flaws. I may be nitpicking, but one thing about Japanese movies is they have an element of anime. Kind of cringy and corny, in my opinion. And in this movie, there are small parts that did kind of feel like the anime cringy and corny, but it's really minimal. So again, I think I'm nitpicking. I wish it was written better, right? Like, there's this character that's in this certain city. Godzilla is attacking that city, and whoa, what do you know? All the tragedy that Godzilla is causing on that character. Like, come on now, man. Like, the main character fled to that city to save that character, and he just finds her out of all the crowd, the big ass city. He finds her like that. It's just kind of dumb. They just made certain situations too easy, I guess, and too obvious, right? If you're wondering, okay, then why did you rate it higher than Killers of the Flower Moon? It's because Godzilla Minus One, it personally brought me joy. There were emotional parts because you liked the character so much. There were like some deep, quick but deep lines and moments, and it hit me. I got a few moments where I got touched emotionally. That sounded wrong, but It was just emotionally, touching. On a technicality level, Killers of the Flower Moon, sure, better, but on a movie that I enjoy more and I will probably rewatch more is Godzilla Minus One. Let's move on to my number one. And I'm pretty sure you already know what it is. My number one movie of 2023 is Oppenheimer, directed by Christopher Nolan. I love all of his movies, literally. Oppenheimer, Cillian Murphy, Robert Downey Jr. The cast is actually really good. There's like a lot of great actors and actresses in this movie. It's based on Oppenheimer, the guy who invented the atomic bomb, the bomb that was dropped onto Japan to end World War II. Everything was just done really well on a high tier level, acting, writing. This movie is also long. I think it was 3 hours, and this movie also went by super fast for me. Well, I wouldn't say super fast, but I did not feel like it was long. I love the scores in this movie. Similar vibes to the Dark Knight trilogy, but I love that, so I loved it. There's like a lot of well-known actors in there that just play small parts. It's like, oh, damn, I know that guy. He's only in there for like 15 minutes, you know? Oh, I know that actor. Oh, I know this actress, you know? My only flaw about this movie, the only flaw about Oppenheimer is me, the viewer. My lack of knowledge of the historical information on World War One and Two. That's it. I feel like dialogue wise, it's fast paced. If you're not a person who loves to watch movies with heavy dialogue, sure, it may seem slow to you, but like, if the dialogue is good, like in Oppenheimer and like in a lot of Quentin Tarantino's movies, if the dialogue is good, for me, it kind of goes by fast. Oppenheimer dialogue was good. It went by fast. The subject matter was fast paced. What was I was trying to get at? Oh, the flaw. I'm the flaw, me, the viewer, because I lack the information to catch on to the dialogue. A lot of the dialogue, I don't know who was who. I didn't really understand what they were talking about. So I couldn't really enjoy this movie to the full extent. Other than that flaw, which is me, the viewer, this movie had no flaws, zero flaws. Maybe Christopher Nolan's usual issues. Sometimes the dialogue may be hard to hear. I guess that's the only flaw, and it's a known Christopher Nolan flaw. But yeah, that being said, amazing movie. Like there are parts of this movie, like man, it's amazing. There's a scene where they test the bomb. I think testing the bomb is more in the middle of the movie. And man, it was just so nerve wracking, right? There's a guy who's responsible for pressing the detonate button. And so they're all getting ready. There's the countdown, and like everyone's nervous, everyone's hoping that all will go well, but it's an atomic bomb, so it's kind of scary. If it does go well, it's still scary, right? Everyone's nervous, the time's clocking down, and you see the guy who's responsible to press the button to detonate the bomb, and man, I was as nervous as that guy, that character. Once the bomb detonated, I just had a bunch of mixed emotions. Like I said, yes, it's a success. Whoa, this explosion was practically done. It's not CGI or anything. So it's like, whoa, it's like a amazing firework. It's so beautiful. These flames and sparks and debris, like whoa, it's so beautiful. And then this great feeling of yes, success, all this hard work to success. Whoa, the explosion, the flames, it looks so beautiful, leads to some negative emotions like whoa, this people are gonna die because of this, like this is gonna cause a lot of death. Yeah, just that moment was a bunch of mixed emotions for me, and I guess that's literally my favorite part of the movie just because of the build up, how it was done, soundtrack wise, the mixed emotion it gives you is like contradicting inside of you. With that seen as an example, that's why Oppenheimer is the best movie of 2023. Oh, but it didn't feel like I went on a tangent on certain films, but that's my top 5 movies of 2023. Guys, if you like my channel, like my content, like this video, subscribe to my channel. Again, it will really help me out a lot. 2024, my goal is to just be better than myself in the past, a year ago, whatever, and to just improve wherever I can. And one of those improvements is my channel. I want to improve my quality, my whole logistic behind my channel. It'll be hard, but accomplish that. I hope you guys have a great upcoming year for 2024. I hope you all achieve your New Year's resolutions. I hope I achieve mine. Yeah, thank you guys. Peace.